morning, good afternoon, good evening. What it do? What it do? I don't know why Brittany did that. What happened, Mama?
You could have kept going. You could have kept going.
Welcome everybody, one and all, to Dating University. How y'all feeling this evening? How
How
you
y'all
feeling this
feeling?
morning? How you feeling this afternoon? Whenever you reach us, man, it's Thursday once again, ladies and
The
gentlemen.
best day of the week.
Welcome again, like I said, welcome to Dating University. I am your co-host, Professor Charles, along with my co-host.
Professor Brittany,
Yes, indeed, where we discuss the good
the bad
and ugly.
of all things dating and relationships.
Absolutely. We have a very special guest in the building tonight, ladies and gentlemen. But first, what do we always do? This episode is brought to you by no other than Dating University.
Absolutely.
Go to the shop. Yes. DU hyphen shop dot creator dot I'm sorry, hyphen spring.com.
There you go.
Links is on all of our social media.
Mhm.
If you want to continue to help uh produce the show, help us do new things, bring in bigger guests,
Yes.
giveaways, parties, whatever, please consider uh buying something from the shop. All right,
Yes.
let's go ahead and get into it. What are we talking about tonight, Brittany?
Oh, tonight it's a good one. It's a good one. If you have been following the pages, you saw the teaser. If you have been following the pages today, you have seen our topic. Today we are talking about dating after divorce. Dating after divorce. And this evening we have a very special guest. We have Professor EJ in the building.
Yeah, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
How are you
Far
doing
too kind.
today? Welcome.
You're far too kind. I'm happy to be here, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. The consistency, the concept is dope.
Yes,
So
thank you.
I'm happy to be here, man.
Ladies, do you hear his voice? Ladies, EJ, talk some more. Just talk some more for him.
I need a quiet
You
storm
see,
show, I guess.
I'm so
I don't
glad
know.
it's not me that's on the spot right now, because just normally she'll just be like, Charles, say something. And I'll be like, what
It's
do you
awkward.
want me, what do
There
you
are
want me to say?
two glorious voices with me tonight on tonight's show. So, ladies, just sit back and just close your eyes and just take in the show.
Listen,
Take
you know
in the
what? We about
show.
to take over this show, bro. We about to just make
I know.
all of
Let me
it.
go. See y'all.
They're gonna have to
Later,
pay
Clearly,
for that.
clearly, I'm chop suey tonight. But
They're gonna
no,
have to pay
we're
for that
glad to
other
have you
pod.
here, EJ. We are so glad to have you here. So, without further ado, let's get started. We have two opening questions. Our first question for the evening, and this is for anyone to answer.
Mm.
How do you feel like the perception of divorce has changed over the years? So let's talk about it from the standpoint of our parents and our grandparents in comparison to how it's viewed today.
I mean,
Mm,
it's definitely become something more socially accepted, and I would say the go-to if things aren't working right. And often you see the conversation on social media, like, I'm not
Yes.
my grandparents, and I'm not staying in something for 50 plus years if it's not working.
Hmm.
So we have really become that generation, and I always talk about it. We're the out for the black man. I say we suffer from the sins of our fathers.
mhm.
A lot of
Ooh,
our fathers were out there doing a lot, and we've picked up some of those things, but I think a lot of us are trying to do better and be better. But unfortunately, the sins of that generation is carried over to the point where people are like, I don't have to subject myself to
that's good.
whatever. I don't have to work at this thing. So, divorce it's an easy option. It's not something that you're socially shamed for.
Exactly.
It's empowering to some people. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So, but it is still a difficult thing. It is a real thing. Because people always ask you, even after the fact, well, what happened? Like, well, what you guys couldn't, work it out. But socially, I would say in comparison to that generation is definitely, more accepted.
I agree. I would have to agree. Being raised Southern Baptist, divorce from my grandparents and even from my mom's generation was like an abomination.
Yeah.
Being in the church, it's like you took this vow before God, and now you're divorcing, so you're breaking your covenant. That's an unbreakable sin that you should not be doing. So, you had a lot of people that suffered in relationships and marriages and where they weren't happy, all for the sake of appearances.
Hmm.
Because who are you to judge what is good and what is not?
Right.
So I'm supposed to suffer in this marriage for what? So just to see how even in churches today, people are divorced and coming to church and living their truths and living it out loud, and they're not being publicly shunned for it,
Hmm.
already shows that there's a change. There's been progress, evolution, progression, all that good stuff. So I like where we are today with it.
Yes, it's that old Huxtable theory, where it's
Mhm.
like, we're both successful, we got the kids, and no matter what, at the end of the show, Cliff and Claire get it together. But the reality is Cliff and Claire ain't always on the same page.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah. Oh yeah. And you gotta be willing to accept that part. It's like, how far are you willing to sacrifice your own sanity, your own happiness, what I'm saying, for the sake of just say, like, I'm married, or I'm doing it for the kids, or whatever. I applaud anybody who will get out of a very toxic
Yes.
situation,
Yes.
um, and able to stand up tall in it, um, and even more so the people who gave it that good old college try. You know what I'm saying? Like, tried to make it work. You
Yeah.
suffered and you suffered and you suffered, but then that light bulb comes on, and it's like, you know what? I'll be damned. I don't have to do this. And I damn sure don't have to do it with you.
That part. That part.
So, like, but a lot of times people get, you know, I think they get divorced for the wrong reasons. Like,
Mm.
you have a misunderstanding, and it's like, whoa, I'm out of this situation. Whoa, time out. You said for better and for worse.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, you can't, have your bouts of where you're not speaking to each other, or you're really, really mad at each other. Like, I
Right.
get that. It happens. But if we're just being so superficial and so, finicky about being in a marriage and treating it as if it's just a regular relationship, I think, there's an issue there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think when not to dive off topic, but or related to it, but a lot of people, when you said getting married for the kids and the reason
Ooh.
you're getting married, I don't know that a lot of people, when we think about it, we're talking about marriage being forever, right? I mean,
Mhm.
how
Yeah.
many of us really can visualize forever? We we were talking
Yeah.
in pre-production just about work and things like that. Some of us can't even vision being in a job the next 10 years, let alone a
Ooh.
marriage
DJ,
forever.
say it.
I
So
mean, what
that,
kind of
that's a big thing, man. When you're talking about forever,
yeah.
that's
Forever
something different.
serious. Forever serious.
What
Y'all.
they say, forever is a mighty long time.
Y'all, let's talk about this. So this is our last opening question before we really get to the good stuff. So tell me about a divorce that you know about, celebrity, non-celebrity, and tell me about one that just shook you to your core. Like you never saw it coming. And when the news came out, you were blindsided. Like, what the hell?
Hmm. Celebrity or
We're
other?
not celebrity. Yeah.
Ah, man. I don't know that I ever really take celebrity relationships seriously.
Yeah, I'd be like, damn, that's messed up. Hmm.
Um,
For
I
I
was
me,
rocking with
I want
I
to
was
say I
rocking
was
with
shook.
J Lo.
Yeah, I don't
There's
want
been
to
a
say I
few
was
though.
shook. Yeah, I won't say I was shook to the core, but I was just like, wow. Um, I was thinking it was one recently. I think it was Ron Perlman's divorce. Um, and
Ro-
he's been with his wife for 20 some odd years. And I'm like, bruh, you like rich. Buy her a wing of the house. She can stay on that side. Like, no, no. What you not gonna do? But then there
Ron
were some
Perlman.
other some really big high profile ones. Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos. Like these are
Yes.
like multi-billion-dollar divorces. And I'm like, sheev, nigga with billions of dollars can't keep you.
And his
Insane.
wife and Bezos' ex-wife married a school teacher, or was dating one rather, or married
Yeah.
one. She
You know what I'm
school
saying?
Crazy.
teacher, some
So it's
random guy.
like,
Crazy, right? So I have to be that one, y'all. I really did not see Kanye and Kim divorcing. I did not. When you look at the trajectory of their relationship, he sought her out big time. And in the beginning, people thought, oh, it's not gonna last, it's a fling. Then they started introducing family. They get pregnant, they have a child, then they get married, they expand. Now they're up to 2, 3, 4 children. I did not see divorce coming. I did not. She was one that was ride or die in the beginning when he started showing some of his, mental instabilities. She stood up for him like that's how he is. He's a genius. He does his best work in this environment. So don't come for him. So I thought she was going to be one of those by his side forever, patient, willing to endure. But
Yeah.
everybody has their breaking point. And so I didn't know that it was going to come as quickly as it did with them having 4 small children.
No, I knew what it was. I knew what it was. Like the man ain't get right since his mama died. Like there was no healing. There was no accountability kind of taking. There was no break. It was just like, well, shit, mama gone. Let me throw myself into my work. Let me throw myself into somebody who I think is a wife material when she could have just stayed his best friend at or however they classified their relationship at the time. There was no reason. Like there was no reason, and now we see the after effects of that. We see him in this space of incoherentness. I want to say
Incoherentness.
I want to say that. You know what? I just realized we ain't got the background music playing. I'm playing it right
It's
now.
okay.
Kim's history though, not to shame in any way, but I mean, she had Humphreys and
Mm-hmm.
Ray J, and I mean, it's that you got Steve Harvey's that had multiple marriages,
Yeah.
J-Lo, Halle, in that
They
lifestyle.
all in each other.
Yeah, I don't know in that lifestyle that you can really depend on these people to stay true to one thing. But yeah,
Right.
I don't know. You hit me with the Ron Perlman though, man. That's deep. That's showing your deep knowledge there. The actors there, Ron Perlman.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know about that guy.
Exactly. Exactly. So I have to get personal because that's what I do on this show. So a non-celebrity that rocked my core when we talk about divorce was an ex of mine. And I dated him, and if you looked at his social media, you would not think that I existed. And I'm a big words of affirmation. So one way you can show me that you love me, and for some people it's superficial, but for me, I like publicly show me off. Show the world that I exist. So once in a while, post a picture of us. Once in a while, give me a little post, do something. But he did nothing for the entirety of our relationship. And so, we break up, we're cordial, life is fine. Years later, he's popping up with this marriage announcement.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, congratulations. This must be the real deal. For you to broadcast this woman. Whoa. Kudos. And so they got married August of 2020. And so it's Christmas time. And, I'm scrolling down my page. It's late at night. And, I'll come across his page. And it's just a random post. So I'm like, oh, let me see how he's doing. And I go to his page and there's nothing concerning her.
No face, no trace.
Not even going back. Not even going back to their wedding announcement.
You know how,
so, of course, I'm not going to
diligent you got to be to go and undo every damn thing.
But I'm
like,
scrub your own page.
You got to. That's a lot of energy, bro. That's a
It's 2 in the
lot of
morning
energy.
though, so I'm not gonna inbox him like, "Yo, what happened?" So I
Mm.
waited until 2 p.m. So "Hey, how have you been?
Yeah,
Just
I
checking
wish
on
you later.
you. Like everything well? How's the wife?" And he's like, "We actually, are getting a divorce. Y'all, not even 6 months. Not even 6 months.
Mm.
See, that's what
Not
I'm
even
saying.
6
It's like,
months."
did you actually know this person before you decided to marry
Right.
them, or did you just do it? You know what I'm
Who
saying?
knows?
For the sake of like, well, we've been together this long, we might as well.
Who knows?
Or everybody else is saying, when you gonna get married? When you gonna get married? When you gonna get married?
Who
And then
knows?
you do it, and then you don't know this person, and this person it becomes totally different, and you're stuck. You're like, shit.
Yeah.
I could be transparent, I guess. Speaking of my own, I
Mm.
think it rocked the people around us pretty hard, and I can say, after that amount of time, I didn't end things well. Just being transparent, I could have done way better. I could have. There was a point in time where I tried to fight, but my pride and the feelings of
Mm.
neglect and feelings that I felt wouldn't let me. And so
Mm.
instead of just doing things the right way, I tailed off. And
Okay.
but it rocked people because on the surface you would think everything was fine.
Mm.
But I could tell you we initially got married for the children. And there was no friendship, there was no bond. And I'm a firm believer that if you're with somebody, you need to kind of feel like you want to do things and be with them and be around them. And there was none of that. So I can't even really say that experience scarred me with anything, because we really didn't share a lot. We were
Wow.
just two people coexisting, putting up the facade, doing things, going by the motions,
Yeah.
people achieving goals and doing different things. And there was nothing really there to keep us there other than the children. And when you
Wow.
realize that, hey, we're both responsible people, we're gonna parent together, all the gloves are off. Like, all right, go your way, I'm gonna go my way.
Hmm.
And that was my thing. I needed to go. I couldn't keep living a lie. So
Wow, that's deep, man.
That's
I,
deep.
I mean, I mean, I did that. I wasn't divorced, but I was in a long-term relationship, and we lived together, and then we broke up. But neither one of us had the means to like leave at the moment, so it's like,
gotta thug it out.
Yeah.
You need
Yeah. So
it's rough out there.
right. So EJ, you're divorced. What's your relationship status now?
I'm off the market now. Recently being and jumping in, into the kiddie pool head first. And I will say, since being divorced, it's been about 5 years now. I've been in the dating world off and on, and I've encountered everything, and this feels right. So we're gonna see. But yeah, I mean, I realized at some point I have to have some similar things, right? Being a father of 3, it's very difficult for me to date someone that doesn't have kids and maybe has never been married. Now, never been married, I can deal with, but I've been there, and having that pressure of someone saying, well, I want things to be the first for me. I want to experience the first for me as a single Black guy who I date with intention. I don't date with this theory of I'm just going to the movies with you. I'm dating with intention.
Right.
So I'm looking down the line, even if we're not gonna get there. That was
Right.
my purpose.
Yeah.
And to hear someone kind of tell you in advance, like, well, I don't know if we gonna make it because I want to be the first to do this and I want to do this my way and that way. You really don't have this realistic sense coming from there, and then what you've been through. The thought goes to your mind, well, do I really want to do this? So I kind of strayed away from dealing with people that don't have kids and don't have the different life experiences that I have. And so I move more towards people that have kids that can understand, hey, I got karate practice tonight, bro. I see you when I can. And I'm like, I got you. No problem, So being intentional and understanding what you like and what you want. And that's the thing. And one of the biggest things I always get asked, when I tell people I have kids, the first question is it about the same woman? You know, that's always the
I
first thing.
mean,
And I can say yes.
valid
And
question.
I mean,
you know,
it's a fair question.
It's fair.
it is. It is. It is.
I
And
mean,
but
just thinking
yeah.
about the times that we live in, there's really, I think that's kind of the little difference, like versus like our parents and grandparents kind of generation. Even though Pop, he had a little side
He's
baby
a Rolling
2 streets
Stone.
over. Yeah, man, with Miss Geraldine and them, but they were still hush hush. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like he looked like him, but.
That's your cousin. That's your brother. Yeah. Yeah. But it's a cold world out there, man. And when I've been in multiple relationships, I've been with people that were divorced with kids, and I thought might have been great for me. But then the pace of things, if we're intentionally talking, why I don't hear from you in 3 days?
You
You know what I
sure?
mean? But I also had to realize that this person might have been feeling like I don't really want to be in something like this, and I'm not over what
Sure.
I've been over. But you encounter that, because people
Sure.
still they still long for something, even if they're not really ready to do it.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So I got a question. Give us 3 words to describe dating after divorce.
Ooh. Ooh.
You can be as explicit as you need to be. You can be as
Right. Because here's the thing. There are, and we didn't realize here at Dating University that we had a fan base. We have students that consist of newly divorced, coming from short-term marriages, newly divorced coming from long-term marriages. There are different levels of divorcees that we do have in the group that we didn't even know. So they're even looking to start dating. And so, look, be real with them. Give the realistic perspective so that they don't go out here disillusioned, thinking that it's going to be crystal stairs and glitter when it's rust and some dirt. So let us know.
I'm gonna give 2 negatives and a positive.
Sure.
Do what you do. You're gonna give the HRs. You're gonna get the compliment sandwich. All right, come on, let's go.
I'm gonna say inconsistent.
Mm.
And then I would say hopeful, or I don't know if I'm in the right context of the vernacular, but hopeful. And then I would say ghetto as the last one.
Okay. So can you explain the inconsistent?
The inconsistent is just, depending on what you're looking for, and you really get back out here into that world. And this comment is actually, where I was going with it. It's not much different than what people that are single, I would imagine, experience. In the inconsistency of ghosting is the huge thing in dating world right now. I've partaken in it, not gonna lie, because sometimes it's just, as our generation, we're just easier not dealing with the conflict and saying, look, I'm good, you good. But I think the caveat for people that have been married is if I'm getting into this and I'm putting myself out there, there's a part of me that's like, I really might not want to do this again. And so do I just stay to myself?
Sure.
Because marriage changes everything. You could be with someone for 10 years and y'all off and on, they move in and they move out. But when that last name is stamped and, that's the person that has the rights to whether or not you get taken off life support, that's a totally different conversation. So but the ghetto piece, man, again, no different than the single piece. You're getting exposed to all of the nonsense that's going on, all of the ratchetness, all of the, the trauma and bad energy and bad juju. So, but again, it's compounded in a vacuum when you've been married and you really then had that moment like, damn, was it really that bad? And you find yourself like, shit, well, maybe I jumped the gun. You start to have the internal wrestling.
When you come out of a relationship and you jump into this piss-filled pool, full of nothing. I mean, filled with nothing but regret, bad decisions, and
Right.
narcissism and codependency issues. You'd be like, damn, I
That's
was
a
better
lot.
off. Let me, babe, hey, come
Right.
me holler at you real quick.
Gotta get that old thing back, huh?
Right. But
Right.
here's my question. Here's a follow-up question though to that. When you first meet somebody after your divorce, do you divulge that information off top, or do you wait until you get to know somebody a little bit more? Because I met a guy on August the 28th, and when I looked in Maryland case search, he has only been divorced for 4 days, and he didn't tell me that. So, do you think that that is something that
Man.
you should tell somebody up front? Because that would have changed my whole perspective and outlook on us getting to know each other further.
I mean,
So,
for
what do
him,
you think?
I mean, you absolutely have to, because and again, I date with intention. So what is my intent for you, for me, right? Like, if I'm not going to tell you what it is up front, I don't want you to bring a different you to me. So if you're thinking
Mm,
that I'm this one thing, your whole aspect is changing. But when you know I'm divorced with 3 kids, you gonna know ahead of time. At least you should know, hey, this guy has a different lifestyle. I'm not that person that,
sure.
even if I don't have kids and I was divorced, you still should know, because maybe the talk
Sure.
about marriage is going to be a little different. Maybe you're going to have a little bit more pause for the cause and say, well, what was that like for you?
Sure.
Versus that person that says, well, I want this fantasy thing the first time, and I'm like, what them 10 racks look like?
Mm,
Like one major debate I always have with people, because I planned my own wedding, right?
Really?
Playing my own wedding down to the T.
good stuff, man.
Wow.
I mean I do it, in other aspects of planning events, but the big debate always was plated versus buffet. And I was just like, look, and it seems minuscule on the surface, right? But I
No
was like,
Oh,
there's
that's
no way
huge.
I'm paying out of pocket
money.
for people to drop one plate in front of me, and I know how my people are, when they can
Right.
go up 2 times, 3 times, up until this time, and we good. But that's the difference
Yeah.
between $3,000.
Exactly.
But ain't nobody
It came
thinking
down to
about that.
money. Yeah. It came
Ain't
down
nobody
to
thinking
money.
about that.
Mm,
Mm. I mean that brings an interesting segue. So with weddings, because you had a wedding, right? You
Mm.
meet the friends, you meet the families. They kind of intermingle. They get to know one another. They build bonds. They build relationships. What happens after divorce? Do
whew.
they stay in contact? What about her friends? Are they still your friends? What about your friends? Are they still her friends? Is her family still cool with you?
Mm. I'd
Mm,
like to believe that my friends, well, see, what I believe she considered to be friends was a little skewed for us. So we didn't really have a bond. I didn't have bonds with her friends like that when we were together.
Okay.
My
mm,
friends, however, still stick by, and they're cool with her as much as they can be in relation. And then the family thing, the family is definitely the family is definitely still connected, as much as we can be. But for me, it was early on in that divorce process. It was a gray area. I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know who to reach
Yeah.
out to. Her
yeah.
mother, God rest her soul, though,
Oh,
always stayed in contact with me. And
Mm,
so, but me and her, ever since the beginning, were always tight,
mm,
because
awesome.
she always kind of understood me, and I understood her. So I mean, that aspect is a little shaky. It is a little rough. But those that were cool are still cool, and I think time heals things a little bit better too. So
Mm.
mm,
And then you say you have kids together. How does that
mm,
work with dating, being divorced?
mm.
You know, do you allow the people that you date to meet your children? And then if they meet the children, do you allow them to also meet your ex-wife?
Yeah. So the
Uh-oh.
first time, there've only been really 2 people that have met the kids.
mhm,
One more officially than the other. And the first time around operating in that space, it was just so much tension. There was
Ooh.
no real room to have that introduction. Of course, it was said, but it really wasn't going to work. But then
mm,
the second time, it wasn't a desire to. I think I don't know what the other side was thinking on that piece.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's something that you kind of want to be cognizant of. Again, we're that generation in that space. We're that generation in that space where we're old enough to know what they didn't do, and
Yeah.
we're young enough to know better. And so
Right.
I'm a little bit more sensitive with my kids versus where I know my parents and the parents of our generation would have just been like, "This Mr. Charles, get used to him. It is what it is."
Right.
Yo, facts.
Right. Right. Right.
So I'm a little bit more cautious now, and just but the kids know, especially all three of my girls have different personalities. The baby just don't care. She just like whatever. Like whoever's nice to me, I'm rocking with them. They cool.
Love it.
The middle one,
She just
she's
wants to
still
spoil stuff. She wants to spoil stuff.
exactly. The middle one is very inquisitive and she's very straightforward like me. So she'll be like, if there was knowledge of somebody, or I was talking to somebody on the phone, she'd be like, "So who was that you was talking to? What happened to him?
Love
You don't be
it.
on the phone no more." And the oldest one has just kind of learned to be like, "Look, bruh, he ain't bothering me. I'm good. I see what's going on. I'm gonna
He's
speak
it for me.
and I'm
It's
gonna
her
keep
for
it
me.
moving." So
It's
I've
her for
learned
me.
that. Yeah, I learned that. It is interesting though.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you have a
sure.
fear of imprinting? So if you introduce your children to a woman,
Mhm.
do you have the fear that they will, attach to her so much that if it doesn't work out, it would be to their detriment?
No, I don't necessarily have that fear because I think they are all three strong individuals as young as they are. And I just think that they're able to operate and move and understand like this is what it is. And then they
Mm,
have their mom that they can really model after and do their thing with. And again, societally, right, kids are so much more knowledgeable than we were. Like
Yeah.
so many of their
yes.
friends have gone through these things. They had theories before I even told them it was going. Like
Wow.
they had theories of, oh well, my homegirl has a new stepdad, and so it's so much more information in a space where they know so much more than what we do.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I always said their grandma and their mom kind of talk around them too much.
Mm.
Where I'm trying to keep them baby, but in this
Yeah.
information age, it's almost impossible.
I think
So
it's important, especially these days, to give kids that credit. They have a lot more access to information than
So
what
much more.
we did.
Right.
We had to deal with whispers and secrets.
Yes. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
And
grown folk talk.
right, exactly. Get up out of here. But these kids, man, they like you said, they have all this access. So I think we have to give them credit. We have to kind of walk that tightrope of, like, I accept you being knowledgeable, but I still need you to still stay in the kid's place.
Right.
amen, amen, amen. You ain't lying. It's tough though, man. I mean,
I'm sure. I'm sure.
it's tough. But I've come to, I've come to see it. I see how they move, and like I said, my middle one is like my shadow. She's paying attention to what I'm talking about on the phone and who I'm talking to. So,
Mhm.
they're aware, and I just feel like she's at that point, like, come on, what's going on? What's up?
Yeah.
But they also have their own outlook on what their future wants to be. Like my oldest says she don't want kids. Kids are too expensive.
Mm.
She said,
Really?
yeah, she said she references her own taste and says, well, I know I like this and I know I like that, and I know y'all got to pay for it, and I don't want kids because
She is
they expensive.
wise.
So
Wise beyond her years. How old is she?
13.
Oh my
13.
gosh.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
my.
Wisdom.
Oh,
I
my.
guess I will see.
Yeah,
I
We'll
know.
again, it's things that they see that kind of like shapes their relationship outlook. Formed, and they're so much more perceptive than what we were. We had to get to our like mid-20s, early 30s before we figured out like, oh, that's why I'm effed up.
I'm
So
trying to tell you.
I mean, these kids, I mean, they see how the world is. They see how unfair it is, how unjust it is,
Mhm.
how hurtful the environment is. So yeah,
Yes.
I kind of get it. I kind of get it.
I get it too.
Yeah,
I get it too. Charles, you have the next question?
I do. So you touched on it a little earlier, and I know that's like your personal feeling on the matter, but should divorced people only date other people who are divorced?
Nah, nah, not at all. I mean,
Mm,
I've always been a person like you could look at my dating history in life, just throughout the span of life. I don't have a type. I always said I like who likes me, and you
mhm,
got to start there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to like who likes you, no matter what they have experienced and where they come from. And I mean, I think the only thing that, for the sake of my lifestyle, that I will pay more attention to is the children aspect. Even
mhm.
though the idea of a blended family with the baby father, in my case, the baby mother, for lack of better words, that is a scary thing in blending that
Very.
together. But
Mhm.
understanding the lifestyle that one may have having kids is very important. So the marriage part, nah, I mean, there are people that have been with someone for 10 years and just never took that step. So, and like I
Yeah.
said, for me, my marriage thing was, you would think I have so much more that I'm carrying over. I really don't, in the sense that we were just on two different lanes. You wouldn't even, if you had a peek into the life, you wouldn't even know we were really together.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
yeah, but
Interesting.
to answer the question, nah. They who likes you, answers love languages, who shows intention, who shows communication. Because the craziest thing in today's day and age is we have so much access to one another.
Mhm.
Literally by your thumbs, and in a minute's time, you can reach out to somebody. But people find ways not to communicate. Like
Woo!
Well, that's tonight's show, everybody. EJ has preached me to the point where I'm done. We good.
Damn,
That's true. Good
that
grief.
is very, very true.
I
That
Good
don't
is
grief.
understand it. I'm a texter. I'm not gonna lie to you. Just the nature of
With
my
that voice,
day.
you're a texter?
Yeah, cause
EJ.
I could be
oh, I
quiet
get it.
sometimes. I could be
I
quiet
get it.
sometimes, and I
I
talk
Well,
for a
let me
living.
have a voice like that. I would be talking to everybody.
no, you say
And
that, but then you be like, like,
And
fam, I'm tired.
yeah, I mean, am I lying? The quiet little secret is, a lot of men, and I'm generalizing. A lot of men don't like to talk on the phone a lot in
no, that's
certain instances.
That's facts. That's
and,
facts.
and so if I appreciate being able to text and get the vibe and energy through all of that, and I understand those that have to talk and all of that. But
Mm,
my point is, in today's day and age, there should be no reason why, if we're intentionally trying to build something, I don't hear from you, you don't hear
yeah,
from me.
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Personal preference. Um, have I dated people that were married before? Yes. I started online dating when I was 29, going on 30. So already as a black woman, I'm already being pressured by society to settle down.
Hmm.
A. B. I started dating at a very interesting time, at a very interesting age. I
Mhm.
was meeting men that were either separated, and they were,
Mhm.
in their 30s,
Oh
30s
yeah.
being separated
Oh
and
yeah.
divorced from their wives, or men in their 40s that were separated from their wives. And in meeting them, here I am going against the clock, and they're pretty much the clock, and they're saying, I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush at all,
Mm.
or I don't want to do it again. So that was my hurdle. So
Mm.
after about 4, 5, 6, 7 men that I really liked telling me that, like, look, I know you trying to get married, but I cannot, I'm okay with not getting married again, or I can't go down that path, or it may be 10 years before I'm ready.
And
I
now
had
I
to
think,
build my preference to say, you know what, I don't want somebody who's been previously married.
and I get that. I mean, I understand from both aspects, from yours and the guys. Why build yourself up, dealing with somebody when, they're just going to let you down, especially,
Hmm.
you had a goal in mind. It's not like that was like the goal, like to get married for
Exactly.
the sake of
Sure.
getting married. You know what I'm saying? You wanted to make sure that you're marrying the right person. You're right.
Right.
You're marrying for love, security, prosperity, growth, all that other good shit. But on the other side, with the guy saying like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that again. Like, a lot of people downplay the trauma that men go through when it comes to divorce.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I really think so. Like, there are men who I've talked to who have, divorced, and they are like, this woman, like, she was berating, she was belittling, she was nagging, she was spiteful, hurtful, lying, cheating. I'm like, whoa, if in another time you would have thought that, you were talking about a man who was, like this, but the roles have changed in certain aspects. And what I've always said is, like, there are some women who believe that their own happiness is the barometer for the happiness of the relationship. Like, make me happy and you'll be happy. What? Like, no. What about what I need? What about what I crave? What I deserve, as a human being, as a man, that sort of thing. And so, yeah, I get it. Some people don't want to get locked down into that situation again because of that trauma, and they'll be able to be like, they want that ability to see that door mark exit and get gone. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Without, like, either losing their pension, like they probably did in the first marriage, or losing half their 401k, or have to go through divorce proceedings, which is costly, time consuming, emotionally draining, financially draining, what I'm saying? All these other things. So I get that thing, because I'm that same person. Like, I am that person. Like, I want to get married one time.
Yeah.
That shit don't work.
So, as a woman that's trying to understand and gain insight, we don't know about the trauma from a man's perspective because it's never discussed. So, EJ, can you speak to that trauma that men may encounter from divorce? It can be a personal encounter, or it could be just.
Time out real quick. I think it's discussed. I don't think it's heard. But go ahead, EJ.
I would say both. I would
err on the side of both as well, and let's add another one. It's discussed, it's not heard, and then it's not discussed because historically, black men, we're the last to cry for help. At one point we had the highest suicide rate of any other ethnicity in anything, right?
Tragic.
Charles spoke on it in the sense of dang, you were talking about something, you hit right on it, and I lost that train of thought. But yeah, that trauma, I've seen it for sure. I've seen guys go through something and just go through it alone, and it is tough. You spoke to the fact of there are some women that believe, make me happy and you'll be happy. That's that old adage, happy wife, happy life, right? And yeah, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And when you're suffering in silence and you don't have support, it hurts. And as black men, and you build resentment as a black man in America, and not to take away from anyone else or anything, just speaking from our experience, we have a lot like anyone else on our shoulders. And when you're supposed to be with someone that's supposed to support you and they don't, I mean, that is a huge thing.
It's a letdown. It's like, I got the world against me on every aspect. Yeah. Like, I think about it, like, when we leave the house, like, we got to drive to work. We're praying to God no cop is behind us. You know what I'm saying? We get to work. We got to deal with all the microaggressions. We got to deal with the down talking, the condescension, all that other things. Then we got to drive back home, pray to God another cop don't bother me. Then you got to stop at the store or the gas station. You pray to God somebody don't run up on you and jack you. You know what I'm saying? And then, you have all of these other things. You think, like, how am I going to drive my family forward and be there at the same time? And, it's a rough thing. TD Jakes has a sermon on that. And it's like, it's the best analogy I've ever seen him use. It's like the stagecoach, mama and the kids is in the back, you know what I'm saying? And, daddy's out in the cold,
Enduring the
driving
weather.
through it. You know what I mean? Enduring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he knows if I go in the back with them, we're not moving.
Right.
We're all gonna die. We're all gonna freeze. We're all gonna go hungry. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I may not be there, but nigga, I'm providing. I'm getting us to where we need to get to. And I think a lot of that goes unnoticed.
And to be fair, honestly, you know, because I think we live in this universe with our generation and older ish or younger ish, we live in this universe where we can't see each other. You know,
That's
the
it.
biggest
That's it.
the biggest misconception and thing that we bought into is that we're so different. I hear so many black women telling us how we're so different than black men. No, we're not. You know, we are black people. We are the people of the earth, whatever you subscribe to. But there's no other people that look like us and feel what we feel. When I'm in a meeting with a sister, I see it on her face. I know what she's thinking when this person says something. I can acknowledge that, even though I'm not 5'5" in wearing heels. I get it. You know, so I think the biggest issue that we have is that we become a society where we're chasing this, I don't want to say Western world, but this ideal that I got to get mine. I'm not worried about yours. And that's never been true. You know, even if you ain't had a good man in your life to you, you had an uncle, you had a cousin, you got a brother, you know, and God bless you, you had a daddy. So at what point did we start believing as a people that I'm not here for you and you're not here for me? And so what happens in that aspect is that when the black man is suffering in silence, you have that person that's saying happy wife, happy life, and they're neglecting to look at their partner. You know, I remember working 3 jobs, you know, you know, just I don't even know how I slept.
Yeah.
And did you sleep, EJ?
No, back then, absolutely not. And I remember one thing, you know, again, just being transparent. I remember one of the biggest things that crushed me when my best friend was murdered, and I literally suffered by myself. It was to the point where I had to make a decision because I was getting these messages like, yo, we about to drive down there. We about to make something happen. And I'm like, I got this baby on the way. I don't know that I could roll with y'all. And by divine intervention, they didn't roll down either. A lot of lives were spared, but it was the fact that I even had to decide that and had that conversation with myself by myself that hurt me. It crushed me.
Wow.
But you know, not in the sense of looking for, and even me saying this in coverage of just saying that I wasn't looking for pity. I'm not looking for understanding or anything now.
Just looking for a soft place to land. Like,
please. But you know, this is where we were. And you know, and I don't have any more malice about that. I let that go. But in that moment, boy, and you carry those things, you know. So I see it now when Brittany, you talked about acts of service and words. You talk about words of affirmation rather than in the love language piece. You know, I'm a big acts of service person, but I don't let anybody do it, which is the most jacked up thing in the world.
Okay.
Like, it's one of the most jacked up things if you think about it.
That's how you show love.
I show love. I actually like words of affirmation in the sense of assuring me that you get me and you hear. But even in acts of service, even just being there saying, let me buy this to do this, I don't want it, because I've rejected the idea of saying that I can depend on somebody.
So do you would you appreciate if a woman offered? So is the offering good enough? Or just you don't want it all together?
I'm cool. I just look at it like, you know, I'm cool. I worked 3 jobs at one point in life and just hustled and I made things work. I don't need anything because I don't expect anything, that's the part that's bad. And I always get in trouble for that because it's like, let me buy something. I'm like, I really don't need anything because I don't want to have to depend on thinking one thing and not getting the other. And I just really came up with that recently. Like, oh, this is where it comes from. So yeah.
Wow.
It's real.
Yeah. I'm telling you, daters, listen, like he said, man, like, we are not so different. The only thing that really separates us is a chromosome. Like, we all go through the same BS. We go through the same hurts. And, if we're not there for each other, if we're always playing the blame game, where's the healing?
Yep.
Yeah.
How are we going to get past it?
Yeah.
Everybody say they want healthy and loving relationships, but if we're not hearing each other, if we're not listening to one another, if we're not seeing each other, like EJ said, if we're not seeing each other, of course it's always going to be that chasm between us.
Right. So EJ, we're going back to the trauma. How did you, after your divorce, how did you heal? What was your process?
I mean, I think I got more trauma from trying to be out there and
yes, Lord, amen.
Yeah, I think I got more trauma.
EJ. Say it again, EJ.
I think I got more trauma dating. Yeah, I think I got more trauma dating and trying to get myself back out there than I did being married. And you would think that, right? That's a salute to that situation. And you could even explore going back. There was no going back for me. There is no going back for me. Not something to that person, but just respectively, I knew that wasn't where I needed and wanted to be. But in the realm of trying to go on the Oregon Trail, exploring the Wild West, I done came through a lot of things.
How much disinterest you got, brother?
I had to slay a couple cattle to keep it moving.
Listen,
see, I like what Charles and me, we
here, brother. We here.
I'm kind of off to the side, but it's cool. Leave me there. I'm fine where I am.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know being out there and dating, as I came with that trauma, I met it, just different personalities, different people, and you develop. I don't know that I've treated anything or I don't know, that's the great word, but I don't know that I've addressed a lot of things, but you learn what you don't like and what you're not gonna go for. Yes, and I'm not about the beefing and the arguing for no reason and I'm good, and so you just develop ways of understanding of what you need to do to respond. Like I always tell people, you can't control what people say and do. You can control how you respond and what you allow them to do. So I know if I'm in a space where somebody's doing something I ain't liking, it's up to me to make that move and do something different. Treating the trauma came after. And in the dating world, the benefit of this divorce is okay society. If I don't like what's going on with this person, I'm gone. Now you got to worry about the other things. Are they gonna pop up on you? Are they gonna send you something crazy? Are they gonna threaten the world with the nasty things you might have sent them? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Hopefully,
I'm saying you got to have the spice, so. I don't know, but
hopefully no ashiness and the proper angles. It's all about the angles and the level of ashiness.
Good God, that's way back to what, season 2, season 3?
Yeah.
I agree. You gotta get the shea butter,
Listen, you better be moisturized.
The angles matter because believe it or not, if it's not up to par, you will be in a group chat.
Hey, listen, I always tell the ladies, get it. That's one of those things you should get firsthand knowledge of first before you judge. Just saying, do yourself a favor. You might be passing up your blessings.
I'm going to go get my man Cat again right now. He's an official. He's official tissue here.
I know. Okay.
You might be passing up your blessings because your man got a limited phone. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Come on now.
And if it's right for you, it's right for you.
Come on now.
Okay.
Talk to me.
Yo, when I say this man, he can walk around campus anyway. He good anyway on this campus.
Here we go. Here's the thing. So EJ, when did you know this is so people that are afraid to even jump into the dating pool? When did you know that you were ready? When did you know that you were ready to start dating?
I didn't know. And then I found out quickly when I wasn't ready.
Ooh.
And I had to take steps back. I had to reevaluate, recalibrate, come back.
DJ, say that one more time for the people in the front, the back, and the sides and outside.
Take steps back, recalculate, recalibrate, reevaluate. And you know the other thing again, in this society, if you're dating with intention, you have it's like boxing, it's like fighting. You know, the throw, you might get hit. Everybody ain't Floyd Mayweather or whoever it is. You might get hit. So if you getting back out there, you got to understand you might take some lumps and blows. And I could say one thing, if I ever say one good thing about myself, right? Because I don't always compliment myself, but the one thing I've always been good at was being able to compartmentalize different situations and say, well, that didn't work. I'm not going to let that stop me from getting back out there.
Awesome.
However, you do get to a point where you might have to just sit down on the shelf and chill. And then you also got to say, well, what type of people am I attracting? Who am I? You know, what am I putting out in the world that's bringing this back to me? So I definitely have known my flaws and different things. And I say, is this manageable for someone else? Am I presenting to be something that they can digest? And you know, you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be honest with yourself.
You know, EJ, here's the thing. I mean, seriously, I don't even know what else to say, but I can say, and I'll be honest, I've had some really messed up misconceptions about dating somebody that was divorced. Have you come across any? For example, for me, I always assumed, okay, if you and your ex-wife are cordial, y'all still doing something. Y'all not really done. Y'all not done. I don't need y'all to be cordial to the point y'all are having conversations. I just need y'all to say hi and bye. Anything more, y'all are boning. Y'all not done.
That shit whack.
That's a misconception.
But
I stand by it. I'm okay with saying that I thought that way.
And to be gangster with you, respectively, you, and that's another thing we don't do. Have that ability to place yourself in your partner's shoes. Now, me and my ex-wife, the communication thing, that's a whole nother thing. But we like I said, we don't have that. We never had that friendship to be like, yo, did you see this? Nah, because we just didn't. So I totally get that. And I'm conscious of that kind of thing, even when I'm talking to someone else. So I get it. And it's up to your partner to really make you feel safe and whole, right?
Yes.
So if I am talking to my ex like that, matter of fact, I would be gangster enough to be like, yo, the kids got to be picked up. Brittany, you handle that. Not in the sense that I can't do it, but here's your security. I ain't got to talk to her. She know you.
Music to my ears. Like music to my ears.
You can't say nothing about that at that point.
Music to my ears.
You can't say nothing at that point. Like
I can say nothing to that.
Keys, I'm giving you the keys. I'm not even talking to her.
Oh, if you give me the keys, and I'm on my knees. So,
okay.
What are some other? Sorry, Mom. What are some other misconceptions that you two have heard, or you out there have heard? Yeah, I gotta really switch the topic real quick because I took it left.
I wasn't ready.
Neither was I. It just came out. Like I said it, and I'm like, oh dear God. But guess what? We own the show, so I can say whatever I want. So, what are some other misconceptions that you've had? You know what? Another one I had, and I'm not ashamed to say it, even though I'm totally off. But let there be kids involved. I always said, you don't have any money for me. Like, how are we gonna go on dates and you have an ex? You have an ex and you have kids too? Oh yeah, it's cobwebs in your wallet.
I remember that Brittany. That Brittany was a little. I had to let that Brittany kind of be out where she was.
Well, you know, but when that Brittany was so used to always paying for dates and stuff, and I'm coming home to cobwebs in my wallet, and I'm sending them home with full stomachs and smiles on their faces. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You got fleeced.
I
In
got
that
fleeced.
regard.
I got
You got
flawed. I
fleeced.
got flute.
You got
I got flashed. I got
Yeah.
everything.
You ain't even get
I-
flued out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hello.
I still pay for dates, and I kind of, again, that's what I'm saying. I kind of get offended if I don't. It's going to take a lot for me to let you do it. Number one, because
Mm,
there's that aspect of somebody might throw it in my face.
yeah.
You know, even if it's one time in a million, but that's that defense mechanism part, right? But yeah, also I think the way people raise their kids is another factor. Again, I got divorced, you know, joint custody. There is no child support in the great state of Maryland. You had to be divorced. You had to be separated for a year. So the logic is, if you know the law, and this is why I tell a lot of brothers, and it might not go over well.
Ooh.
If you're on child support, you want to be, to a degree, you want to be, because people are on child support, men, women, whoever, because they don't want to change their lifestyle. But if you have joint custody and you share joint time and energy and finances, why do I need to pay you child support? The law says that if you can pay for these kids, and when we were married and we're not making significantly so much difference in the sense where my salary was covering your lifestyle, why do I need to pay this person anything?
Mm-hmm.
Because if in that year that we were separated and you moved and I moved and you couldn't survive, run me them kids, champ.
Run
and
me
you can see,
them.
and you can see them when you want.
Exactly. Right.
Because if you
Run me
can't,
them
if you can't house yourself, then what are we talking about?
Right.
I'm good on my end.
Right.
So I say that to say, in the financial sense, you know, my kids don't ask for the most expensive things. They're pretty content kids. You know, I pay for their insurance. We have a working relationship of paying for things. They good. So I don't really have that issue. And you pay, you get what you pay for, you get what you want, you do what you want, and you pay for what you want. So I can't subscribe to that.
There you go. There you go. Well, this has been such an enlightening and engaging conversation, man.
Yes,
Thank
you earned that drink, EJ.
Yes, sir,
You
man.
had me
Come
on the
on,
edge
let me
of
go
my
ahead. Let me
seat.
clink you up with the last little bit there,
I
boss.
am
Go ahead,
sitting
my
on
guy.
the literal edge of my seat because EJ,
You are
wow.
an official professor here at Dating University. You are
I'm
welcome
happy to be here.
at any time. You are good in any building.
He's good. You can come on anytime. You can come on next week, the week after that.
It don't even matter. Just be
I'm
like,
happy to be here. I'm gonna have to get y'all. I'm gonna have to get y'all on a couple of shows.
Oh, come
Charles,
on.
Charles definitely gonna have to get you on the show.
Listen, you already know. So it's that time. What we do every time that we have guests on our show, we give them the red carpet so you can go and tell the world who you are, what you got going on, what your projects are, and here
some final words, and give us some final thoughts too. Final thoughts.
Be kind to each other. Black men, black women, melanin people, whatever you subscribe to, not much different than one another. Hear each other, love each other, and if you're really talking about healing, it's going to be tough, but the conversation needs to start, and you got to start somehow. You got to be vulnerable. So bring the wall down if you're trying to let somebody in. Don't try to let somebody in if you don't have the walls down. It ain't gonna work. Because all you're gonna do is shut them in and shut them out. But otherwise, got 2 podcasts. One is my Ratchet Self. That's the Cast Worthy podcast. We're on episode 139 coming up. Nice. We talk about urban news, sports, and politics, and we just get after it. And then the other one is Unapologetically Black Male, where we talking about surviving the standards, stigmas, and systems of society on Black men. My co-host with that is Dwayne Pate. You can find that on YouTube and all the platforms. Shout out to my Castworthy crew, Big Steve and VP. You can find that on all other platforms. And that's me. Appreciate you guys for having me in the university as a guest professor. This is a dope platform, and congratulations to everything you guys are getting and will get. Wow. And I'm gonna get some merch soon. We're gonna talk about that too.
Gang.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And ladies, I hate to be the bearer of bad news because usually when we have a man on this podcast and he is attractive and he has a deep voice,
Far
I
too kind.
always get inboxes asking about their relationship status. And as we covered in the beginning, for those that are late and for those that are watching tomorrow and the week after that and the week after that, EJ is taken. There's no chance right now. There may not ever be a chance again. So I send my condolences and I send my apologies. Look inward and move forward.
Listen, may the blessings of the Lord be upon you and peace out.
Yes. EJ, congratulations. We are so excited and we're so happy for you. So for those that have been divorced that are afraid to date, look, he now has someone
Ooh.
journey, but look, there is happiness, there is a rainbow after the storm. There is hope for the
There's been some
hopeless.
trials, honey. There's been
There's
some
been some
trials.
trials.
Let's not forget that.
We'll
Sheesh.
testify off camera.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank you guys.
no problem. Thank you once again to EJ Stewart for coming on and giving us the lowdown and the nitty and the gritty, the good, bad, and the ugly of dating after divorce. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you to our podcast listeners, our Spotify, Apple Podcast listeners, anybody else who's catching the show after the live. Man, we love y'all so much. Thank you so much for all of your support.
Yes.
Thank you to everybody who's bought like a t-shirt and a hoodie over
Y'all
last
been buying
week.
them up.
Listen, y'all are supporting us. Y'all getting us one step closer to doing this full time. Amen. Lord, please, because Lord, I don't want to work for nobody else.
Yeah.
No more. But continue. We appreciate you. We got giveaways that's going to come up soon, so don't want to miss a show. Make sure that you are sharing, tagging your friends in the comments. Follow us on all of our platforms: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook.
Yes, all of it.
All of it. We're here.
Yes. Next week, are we going to Sizzle next week?
I think we're going to Sizzle next week, shorty.
If you are free next Thursday at 6, meet us. EJ, you can come if you want, but meet us at Sizzle with the Baltimore Media Coalition, and we will have them on the show, and we're going to chop it up, and we're going to talk about whatever the hell we want, because that's whatever the hell we can do.
Amen.
There's no cost to be the boss at Dating University.
That's it.
We're excited. So meet us there.
Come out, have a drink with us. Come out,
appetizers.
Buy some wings or something. You know what I mean? Show you love. Get some pictures, sign some stuff.
Yes.
I'm here for it.
Get some pictures with us, please. Because you think about it, we haven't seen anybody since we had our picnic.
Yeah. God.
And before that, our holiday party. I only say that. So EJ, I say that because at the holiday party, it wasn't his best day, but he had the best time ever. It wasn't his best day, but we had the best time ever.
We had the best goddamn
Listen,
time.
I'm a great support system. So if you need to unwind, brother, I got a shoulder for you.
My man, I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
Sizzle, I've been wanting to get the Sizzle, so I might come out.
Yeah,
come on out. We have that D9 love, EJ. So it's always love from me to you, always.
Congratulations on that again.
Thank you.
You got some years to catch up with me, but
I have some years to catch up. But I pay homage to you. Much respect for your work and service in your organization.
Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all next week at Sizzle.
Come join us live. Yeah.
Holla at us. We're going to have fun. Peace.
Bye.